afternoon, colleagues. I think in the essence of time, we will start. The session will be recorded. Just want to make sure, Sanazo, did you start the recording process?
Yes, I did.
Thank you so much, Sanazo. Colleagues, welcome to the third information session for the Postdoc office. We're really glad that you have joined us today. If you hear a bit of noise outside, we have it's a strike. We have a strike outside of some of the workers here outside. So just be with us in terms of that also. So today your presenters will be myself, and I have also got Joan, our senior financial officer that is joining us here today. And Joan will just show her face as well quickly, and then we will just switch off our camera and then we will move forward. Joan, would you mind to share yours face with us?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, so that is Joan, colleagues. Joan is our senior financial officer, and she is mainly responsible for the postdoc payments on our side, and hence the two of us will be presenting the session today. So I'm just setting the scene for today. We will just give you a brief overview of the postdoc office. We have done that in our previous sessions as well. Then we will look into the final step of the 7-step postdoctoral appointment process. That is, of course, the payments that we will be looking at. Then we will speak to the memorandum of agreement because the payment forms are linked to the memorandum of agreement. And then we will look into Intellimali, the Intellimali payment form. We call it the Intellimali payment form because the majority of the payments are now done through Intellimali. Previously, we have done ad hoc payments through our own finance system here, and it will go through your bank account directly. But now the majority, I would say about 99% of our payments are going through via Intellimali. Just to clear it, Intellimali is the service provider that the university make use of to pay postdocs. Postdocs cannot be paid via HR, and that is all because they receive a tax-free stipend. Then we will focus on Addendum C. That is an addendum to the Memorandum of Agreement. That is where fellows who receive more than 400,000 Rand per year, they must, of course, get permission to receive an amount greater than 400,000 Rand per year. We refer to the 400,000 Rand as the soft cap that we have for postdocs, and hence the addendum should be completed. As you all know, postdocs can also do work. They can work for up to 12 hours per week. So we will look into that, the extra work they can do, and the process and how it all works at the end of the day. Just bear in mind, Joan will focus on that section, but it's important to note that this extra work that they do outside of their research project. And then, of course, we will open the floor for some questions, and we will aim to answer those questions for you. So just again, this is the postdoc office team. Sindiswa is our administrative officer. And as I said, I'm joined here today by Joan Maglogla, who is our senior financial officer, and then myself as the head of the postdoc office. We're a small team, but I believe that we do make a wonderful team and that we do contribute to the overall postdoc appointment process and to the postdocs as well. Our director is Mr. Nugent Lewis, and our senior director is Dr. Tarina Teron, and ultimately we fall under the ombud of the DVC for Research, Innovation and Postgraduate Studies, which is Prof. Sibo Moyo. Okay, just in terms of the postdoc office, how you can reach us, we have a dedicated SharePoint link That is where you can find all our documents and all information with regards to how to appoint a postdoc, and that includes information about the postdoc payment process as well. We are currently in the process of updating our website. We have made a few changes, and of course, we will continue to do so. And we will also, I think later in the year, not later in the month, we will embark on a campaign to increase the visibility of postdocs where they can do their research profiles, but we will communicate that, and that will also be on our website going forward. In our previous sessions, we have covered the 7-step process, and that is the process to appoint a postdoc at Stellenbosch University. All of this process is of course guided and by the Stellenbosch University postdoctoral policy, as well as the SARS binding class ruling, and that is where we take all our guidance from those two policies. There are other policies as well that postdocs must adhere to, but those are the two most important policies. And today we will focus mainly on the last step in the 7-step process, which is the payment and Intellimali registration. Just to repeat, Intellimali is the service provider that the university make use of to pay postdocs. Postdocs are paid on a monthly basis. Postdoc payments are made from the 25th until month end of each month. We spoke about the Memorandum of Agreement. I've mentioned it earlier. Short is the MOA. This is the legal binding contract between the university, the postdoc, and the host. For us that are employed at the university, that will be our contract with the university. So this is similar. And this Memorandum of Agreement is usually signed after the postdoc has been registered. I know that some people complete it beforehand, and we would usually, then upon registration, this will be submitted. In previous times, we had cases where this forms or this MOA didn't reach our office, or it reached our office at the later stage. So therefore, we have made the decision to say that if we do not have a Memorandum of Agreement on record, we will not be able to process any postdoc payments. The postdoc payment form must, of course, be checked against the information that is in this Memorandum of Agreement. So that's why it's of utmost importance that the Memorandum of Agreement should be completed correctly. All the funder information as well as the funder amounts should be outlined in this agreement, and the agreement must be signed by all the parties, which is usually the postdoc, the host, and the head of the department or the head of the division or the center where the postdoc is hosted at. And as I said, the next thing would be the postdoc payment form, and Joan will speak for us to the postdoc payment form. Giving over to Joan.
Thank you, Lisa. The postdoc payment form is fairly simple. So all the parts that are highlighted in yellow are very important. Obviously, that's personal information. That would be the name, surname, gender, and the likes. The period in which the fellowship starts and ends is also extremely important because that is what we match up against the MOA. And then when we move on to section C, an issue that we find a lot is that the CC numbers are never added onto the form. So sometimes postdocs assume that we would know what CC the money is supposed to come from. That is not always the case. So that has to be indicated in there, as well as the date and as well as the amount. Then when it comes to the amount, we find that a postdoc would maybe give us one form for the NRF amount, and then when the host has confirmed how much they're giving as a top-up, the postdoc would then send a separate form for the top-up amount. all amounts must be on the same form, and this is for record keeping purposes. So what happens is that if a postdoc has sent in a form that has one amount, let's say, for example, in this case, it's the NRF amount, we would need the second form to then overrule the form that we already have there, so that we only have that one form on record. Multiple forms have proven to be quite a challenge for us, especially when we have to recon. And then under acknowledgements, the signatures are very important, because we would assume if the host signature isn't there, we would assume the host has not seen this payment form, and so therefore we cannot proceed. So I've mentioned that all the highlighted bits must be completed. All forms must be submitted by the 20th of the month, and that is so that the payment can be processed between the 25th and the last day of the month. If a form is not received by the 20th, we are not able to make the payment in that period. We can't guarantee that the payment will be made in that period. And then the last part regarding the postdoc payment form is that postdoc payments cannot be backdated. So if a postdoc started work in January and we only received the form in February and the registration is somewhere mid-Jan, we will only start the payment from February the 25th. We cannot backdate a postdoc payment. That's regarding postdoc payment. Thank you, Isao.
Okay. I will now speak to the travel and subsistence grants payments. Just to speak about that, this is something new that we have gotten onto our office. Previously, this payments for travel grants and mainly subsistence was processed by finances. But now seeing that with the move to the from TerraTim to the SUNStudent system, we are now processing the payments for the travel grant and subsistence payments via our own SUNStudent, the FinAid system. So what we have is we have a special payment form that should be completed for travel and subsistence grants. It's a form that is similar to the payment form that Joan just explained to us now. It is just that the section C part of the form is a bit different. What we have found is that travel grants and subsistence grants are captured on the SUNStudent system at departmental level, and then we are requested, or our office are requested, to approve those bursaries on our end. We are not able to approve any of those bursaries at any stage. The process is the payment form should be completed. It should be submitted with all the supporting documents to our email, our generic email, which is postdocinfo@sun.ac.za, and then we will process all of those payments. We have a special arrangement with the business management office at Tygerberg, where they also allocate travel grants on a regular basis. And we will then liaise with them, and they will correspond with us, and we will process those payments in those cases. And no extra forms are usually needed in that case, because they do have the forms and the information that they provide us with. This is just some extracts or screen grabs from the actual forms. As I said, section C specifically will refer to the travel grant or the subsistence. That is the only part that differs from the main form that Joan explained previously. And where there is subsistence involved, there's an extra Excel spreadsheet on the payment form that should be completed as well. So yeah, as I said, the travel grant and subsistence payments are now processed via our office. And then, as I said previously, Intellimali, our service provider that we use for postdoc payments, Joan will just explain the registration process, which is a once-off process for all new postdocs and new consolidocs. Thank you, Joan.
So all Intellimali registration, as Izala has explained, only happens once for that particular year. So once it's happened, you won't be requested as a postdoc to then complete the upload of the banking details unless those banking details have changed since you uploaded them. Then you would be required to then contact Intellimali. So there's two ways that banking details can be updated or uploaded with Intellimali. Once we have loaded the payment, an SMS will be sent to the cell phone number that we have as a university on record. And on there'll be a web address and a PIN code that the postdoc would need to then click on and go into the registration process. The second option is that the postdoc would use the link that is on the screen. And on that link, they don't have to wait for the SMS. They can just go on there and they can update their banking details on there. Should a postdoc struggle with the Intellimali portal, either to get in, either with the PIN to register, they would unfortunately have to contact Intellimali themselves. We are not able to intervene in that process because it's a security matter. So Intellimali does not share the postdocs amounts, contact details, or anything with third parties. And once we've made the payment to them, we are considered a third party. And that is why we would always refer postdocs to Intellimali should they struggle to register with their details. Also, once a postdoc is out of South Africa, they would struggle to access the Intellimali SMS, or Intellimali will struggle to send them an SMS. And so therefore they would unfortunately only have the option to use the portal link and put in their information. And then I'll explain the process regarding payments for extra work. So any work that is done by a postdoc outside of the fellowship work, that unfortunately will have to be paid by the HR system or by HR. We are not able to do those payments via Intellimali. So the maximum that a postdoc can work is 12 hours a week, and that is the maximum. Anything above that, they are not allowed to. The departmental administrator, so whatever department it is, education, engineering, law, that department administrator is the one that handles the paperwork for extra work and not the postdoc office. And the payment that the postdoc gets for working extra hours, that amount is taxable. Unlike the stipend that they get from Intellimali, that is tax-free. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Just to add to what Joan said now about Intellimali, Intellimali recently uploaded quite a few how-to videos to YouTube. So any person can go up to, if they struggle also, they can go to YouTube to view one of those videos. And also they have an app where you can basically do your registration process and upload your banking details also. Those are two of the new things that Intellimali have launched, but which is quite useful also. And that basically brings us to the end of the payment process. It's important, like John said, just to conclude, is that all the payment forms should be completed correctly. In the majority of cases, we no longer pay postdoc payments directly via finances. We only pay it through finances to Intellimali because that process of direct payment is still taking a bit too long. So Intellimali is faster at this stage, and Intellimali involves registration. And should you need assistance in any way, you can reach out to our office. We will assist you as far as we can. And if referral to Intellimali is needed, we will, of course, do so as well. Just at the end of every information session, we usually see a few postdoc in office information bits that we call it, or bits. The first bit is there. We've started the postdoc information corner. That is where we share information with our vice deans presets, and we will also extend that to our head of departments going forward. We will do this once a month. This month we are focused on the visa process and people with pending visas. And also just to say clearly that postdocs cannot start to work if they don't have a valid visa. Just a reminder that all postdocs positions should be advertised at all stages before we can start the appointment process. Just to be aware also that our office do have a capacity development program, and these communications are sent to postdocs on a regular basis. And we also have now have the check program where postdocs can get involved for capacity development for a year, and they will get a certificate after that, and that is currently free for all postdocs. We are currently standing at 310 postdoc fellows for the year. Postdoc fellows for the year, yes, and that includes our postdocs as well. And from the 1st of June, our office will move to a postdoc office booking system for appointments because all the walk-ins can get a bit hectic, especially during the time of the month where Joe needs to process all the payments and where concentration is needed. And the postdoc travel grant will also, the second call will open the 1st of June. And that is our contact information, colleagues. You're welcome to visit us or send us an email, and we will assist you or refer you where we can. And that concludes our session, and the floor is now open for your comments, for your feedback, and for your questions. Thank you. Hi, Karine. Yes.
Hi, I have thank you for this. It was nice to have a recap again.
Yes,
I have a question on the travel grants and subsistence funds. So I've had a couple of instances where I had postdocs receive a faculty grant, and then they kind of had to have the expense first, and then they could claim back the grant. So I want to know, is it going to still be like that, or will they get it up front? Because it's sometimes, you know, quite difficult for them to go out of pocket and then claim back.
Yeah.
Or for me, because I'm the one who then has to pay from somewhere.
Yes.
Is it still like that, or will faculty now give you the money and then you can pay it out as soon as you have the right paperwork?
As soon as the right paperwork is there, are you talking about the faculty grants that we receive from Pernille and the Business Management Office? Is that the faculty grant?
It comes through Tashwell.
To Tashwell.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same as Pernille and them. Yes, yes. So, Karine, going forward, as soon as we have all the updated documents, we will strive to make that payment update before the person leaves the country. And not do a claim back process, because we know it's really difficult for postdocs as well and for the hosts to make this kind of funding available. So yes, you can send it to us just in advance, and then if any information is needed or confirmation with our colleagues at Tygerberg at the research office or the business management office, we will be in contact, and we will ensure that the payment is made before the person travels.
Okay, yes, because just I'm not sure if everyone is aware of that, but for some reason, when we book plane tickets through Nielsen Travel or one of the kind of recommended travel agents, the actual payment from the university to that agency takes almost a year to go through for some other unknown reason. And we're struggling to get those claim backs because we cannot produce a proof of payment for the plane tickets in particular. So that's been a massive headache on our side. So Isel, can you also tell me more or less how long this whole process will take? Like when I have someone who needs to go to a conference, how early must I start getting all these payments sort of initiated?
Our processing time is usually 5 working days. So if you can submit it to us, the person will receive the payment within 5 working days from the date of submission.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And this will be through Intellimali. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Karine. Yes, you can go ahead. Yes. Dr. Adova, you can go ahead. Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Just unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
I just have like a suggestion that something that the postdoc office can do in terms of communicating with banks and maybe other related bodies, because you see when you approach these banks and you're updating your details with you, mostly the international postdocs, you have a research visitors visa, and they don't really understand that you are also a postdoc. It causes confusion because I had my PhD in Durban in UKZN, and I had a temporary resident visa. So transiting from a temporary resident visa with a check account and into a postdoc with a research visitor visa, my account was stepped down from a check account to an access account because they don't. I was like, they said they are confused. They don't know where I fall in. Whether I used to study. I said I'm a postdoc researcher. So and they were like, your visa is a visitor's visa. It's not like your previous visa as a temporary resident study visa. So if the postdoc can really step up in terms of enlightening these banks or bodies that we are a long-term visiting researcher, and we should have some access to some banking maybe like benefit or like something like that in terms of like your banking standing or your banking status, rather than just assessing basic services that even a master student with a study visa has more banking services than you as a postdoc, and which is it's not cool that way. So if there's a way the postdoc office can step up in terms of like giving them the right information on our standing. Though we are not faculty members, and we are not also students, I understand that, but at least they should meet us halfway. Thank you very much.
Dr. Adoga, thank you very much for that comment, and we do take that on board. That is something that we can definitely look into and explore, reaching out to the local banks here in Stellenbosch, and maybe then also to some of the banks, Tygerberg, when the postdocs open their bank accounts there. But I think we can start here in Stellenbosch, especially with the banks that are in the NLC Student Center. That is something that I will look into. Thank you. We take that comment on board.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Colleagues, any other questions?
Hi, good afternoon. Are you reading the chat?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can't see the chat. Let me maybe just stop sharing. Okay. We're just checking the chats quickly.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Mustafa Jaji. I'm a Consolidoc fellow, and I'm speaking from Nigeria right now. I think I should arrive South Africa on the 22nd or 21st. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. My postdoc, the date on my postdoc is March 1st. So I applied for visa and I got my visa late last month. So it therefore means that I have done like 3 months out of my 6-month Consolidoc in Nigeria. So I'll be coming over to do the remaining 3 months. So I think I have forwarded my visa to the postdoc office. And I only received one communication from Sidinswa. She was asking whether I'm in South Africa or I'm still in Nigeria. And I said I'm still in Nigeria. Now, the visa lapse in August.
Okay.
One would expect that maybe subsequently or subsequent letter issuance, that the postdoc office would allow a space of like 2-3 months because of the procedure at DHA, so that visas don't come on time. So part of my postdoc period has been consumed by visa application process, although I'm still going to meet up with the requirement of 2 papers between myself and the host. So I want to know, and I got to understand that the minimum period I can use in South Africa for the consul doc is 3 months out of the 6 months. So I want to know if my payment will still cover all the 6 months.
Mustafa, thank you for that. I think that is something that we should discuss off record. But just to say that, like John said, is that we cannot backdate payments. That's the first thing. That with all postdoc payments and consolidoc payments also. But our office is also aware of the backlog and the challenges with DHA. So we take every postdoc payment situation or situation like yours, we take it on a case-by-case basis. So the 2 of us can discuss this once you are back or just before you arrive. I can give you a call. If you want to stay afterwards also, we can maybe just chat. And there was a third thing that I wanted to say now is, yes, we have had many challenges with postdocs who's starting to work before they have a valid visa and before they're within a country. We must just emphasize that at this stage, postdoctoral fellowships and consolidocs positions are residential positions. So you should be in South Africa when you take up one of these positions, unless you have received prior approval from the postdoc office. That you may work from abroad. Yes, we do have exceptions where postdocs and consolidocs have worked from abroad. I must highlight it again. Those are the exceptions, but prior approval must be obtained before that. But nonetheless, also we will be able to discuss your situation and find a solution. A workable solution for both of us.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Because my visa will lapse in August. So
yes,
they gave me just the 6 months that is on the letter. They didn't even give extra months.
They didn't consider. Although it's a 6-month fellowship, but it's something that we can discuss. As I said, we will definitely find a workable solution for you in terms of that. I can set up a meeting for the 2 of us, and then we can discuss and also include your host, and then just see how we can work around it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Joan is answering the chat now. Benoit, would you still like to go?
Yes, hi, Isel. I just had a question related to the payments of postdocs, and that's related to previous experience. When the funds for the postdoc bursary come from research funds, or funds that are awarded by an industry partner, for instance. When we specify in the form, the amount for this bursary, it looks like this amount is taken directly, the whole amount is taken directly from our cost point. But sometimes we don't have the money available for the whole year. So I don't know how we can work around that.
Benoit, it is the rule that the funding should be available for the postdoc for the year, but we also said that there are exceptions always to the rule. So we do have postdocs that we do pay on a 6-month basis, for example. You must just let us know.
Okay.
And if we have a copy of that contract as well.
Yes.
The other option is also for you to arrange a facility with finances on that specific cost center. But alternatively, we can also just make a period, a 6-month period payment. But then the responsibility would be on the postdoc and the host also, just to remind us also after the 6 months period. But we will also strive to send a reminder after that 6-month period.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, pleasure. There's Dr. Adoga, your hand is still raised. Is that for the previous question?
It's for the previous question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Did I miss anyone? I don't see any other hands. Okay. If there's no other questions, when we are done, colleagues, please feel free to reach out to our office or to me directly, and we will assist you where we can. Thank you so much.